Hello, North Idaho. I'm Elsa Owsley with Watchman Ministry North Idaho. Today we're here with Jeremy, and tell us your last name.
Cowperthwaite.
There you go. He is running for mayor for the city of Spirit Lake, and we're going to ask him a few questions so that you can get to know him better. And we'll just start with the first one.
Sure.
First question is, why are you running for office?
I am running for office primarily because I'm a servant. God has made me serve my community in many different ways, and I have held the office of mayor for 4 years now. And all of my current employees have asked me to run. And that in itself, I've been around here for 47 years of my 53 years of life, and I have yet to see success like that, where my influence, whatever that be, spoken by others. It's not my desire or something I feel that I have to bring necessarily to the table, but the reaction from those that are under me currently, which is a measure of success. It's not something that I feel is a personal reason. It's the desires of those that are currently there, and I know the successes that I have succeeded at for the last 4 years, the moving Spirit Lake forward, getting everything, the balls are all rolling forward, and the momentum is good for Spirit Lake, and I would love to see that continue.
Okay. All right, your second question is, what are your top 3 priorities should you be elected?
Much along the same thing, is to continue with the empowering of the employees that are currently there. That was something that was very much missing. 6 years ago, I ran for council, and I got on council, and I realized that the issues that we have seem to have been at the top, and where you stifle people and hinder momentum. So all of the plans, all of the facilities plans, everything was outdated, 20 years old or non-existent. So the managing of accomplishing, getting the things in place to grow, those are already rolling forward. Again, I would like to see those continue, and continue to see the unity that has been brought over the last 4 years in the city. There was a lot of department dissensions, and to see something happen and remove that camaraderie or change that, I would love to see things continue rolling forward. We have the things in place, that the top priority, sewer for every property in Spirit Lake. They for as long as I can remember, the lack of like sewer, which in essence is an improper management of the city. You have an obligation to provide for all the properties, water, safety, the securities and things. And for us to not be able to offer that to every property within the municipality seems to be a way to stop or stifle growth. And you really can't. What happens is you get so far behind the 8 ball that these are the things that are moving forward. I'd like to see continued, not empty promises or things like that, but these are the realities. There's a lot of land there and people own property that can't do anything. They need to be able to, we have to be able to offer the basic services. And again, those are the top three things, the water, the sewer, and the security. And we are coming up against issues, I think it's across the board, is being able to afford those. And municipalities don't necessarily make money. It's tax driven and little fees here and there. But without having these plans, without having these top priorities of the basics, we don't succeed at anything. So those are the items I'd like to see continued moving forward. Nothing really new other than what's already in place.
Okay, sounds good. And the next question, you already touched a little bit on that, but I'll go ahead and touch on it. Now, growth is a big issue for North Idaho, and you're in a smaller municipality, so you don't deal with the growth that, for instance, Post Falls or Rathdrum does, but still. The question is, what are your recommendations to mitigate the impact that growth is having in North Idaho, including roads, schools, healthcare, police, fire, etc.?
Well, we can't put that burden on those who currently live in these municipalities. The increase, it needs to be put on like future build, impact fees and those things, which again, we're outdated and not collecting those fees that we should have been. So it keeps putting you further and further behind. And that is to increase your road surfaces and maintain those. The school districts, we need to be proactive instead of always so far behind the eight ball that we're being reactive. Reactive doesn't prepare for these things.
Right.
It band-aids the immediate issues. You look for band-aids, symptom cures or fixes to the bigger picture. You have to plan and manage for these changes, instead of like the amount of traffic coming through Spirit Lake is insane. I don't know, I've talked to ITD and there's no plans to address that issue. Again, waiting to be reactive instead of proactive. When all of this happens and you start getting incidences and accidents and then we do something. So I think we need to be working together and trying to be proactive to address all of these issues.
Agreed. Okay. Fourth question is, the continued increase in property taxes is a concern for most homeowners. What are your suggestions on how to pay for city services needed while trying to maintain lower property taxes so that people can actually afford to stay in their homes?
That's a really good question. And obviously a very sensitive one with people. May not be popular answer, but I think we need to learn to live within our means. And I mean that with most respect of anybody. And give you an example, I've had 7 people at one time living in my 1,200 square foot home. It's smaller, but it's bought within my means. The trying to keep up with the Joneses or whatever phrase you want to use there, we seem to build bigger and more and covet things, and we can have these habits and we can have these things. The way I look at taxes, local taxes, is, and it's changed when I got into council about 6 years ago, is I look at our cities as like a castle, and our home and our property is but a room in that castle, if you would. But individually, what do we want the castle to look like, to service like? If we want those services, we have to pay for them. And I was proposing when I was on council about 5 years ago, yes, a tax increase. We have to pay for our services. We keep showing on our audits that we are spending more than we're actually bringing in. We're not over on our overall allotted money, so we're okay, but we're always imbalanced there. And if we were imbalanced in our home and our checking account was always less, we would find ways to bring the income in. And again, taxes, it's a very sensitive thing, but I think at the time, 5 years ago, it was going to be like an $80 increase that would set the city able to pay for the services they want. And it's unanimous, the water, sewer, and our police department. But if we don't want to pay for those services, you're going to lose them. That's the very basics, very bottom line. And it's not that I want to increase taxes or run people out of their homes by any means. But I don't know that we actually have much local control of how society is designed. The inflation and the interest rate. We don't have control of these things. And for a municipality to find a way to make money, it's a nonprofit, a municipality, and they have to pay their bills, but very limited, especially a small town, very limited in ways to make money. So we have to look at it as a collective. We are all in this together. This is all of our town. This is, how do we want this town to function? And if it means I give $80 a year or $50 a year, or whatever that might be that increases, or even $100 or whatever that might be, instead of it being my tax, my money, and the Bible says, Jesus said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. That city is yours, the people's. It's ours. It's just an extension of us, and we all want to take that care and pride in our home and our little piece, but that's not it. It's the bigger picture, and you can take that to Earth or America. It's how do we want to afford, and in a small town, property taxes is what pays for basically your services. Right. And your local fees and things. But then again, the increase of population happening all around us is increasing our need for, more people on the roads, more things like that. But we're not building because we're on a moratorium for the sewer. So how do you earn them? It's a question I don't know that there is an actual answer to, other than our taxes is what pays for those services you want. So we have to look at the service you want and how we're going to afford that. So I can't say that I can come up with a way to earn money as a city to offset what really it costs to basically operate.
To run it.
And the bills are the bills, and again, if you're spending more than what's coming in, something has to be done. And if it was, like I said, if it was our homes, we would fix that. You want it the other way. You want a little more coming in than what's going out. So
Right.
I hope I answered the question.
Yes, you did. Thank you. And last question is, what is your background and how will it help the city should you be elected, in your case, re-elected?
My background is one for the books, that's for sure. I'm a heavy equipment operator by trade. About 16 years ago, I blew my back out and worked for a couple of years and completely ruptured. I just went through my 6th back surgery. But in that time, when suffering and couldn't barely walk, couldn't barely breathe. It was horrible, and it has been till recently. We're gaining on this, but I was complaining about what I seen going on in our town, and I found myself asking God, why does nothing change? Why? And the Lord actually said, get in and do something. And it hit me, and I was like, no right to complain about things unless you're willing to get in and try to do something about it. And when I heard that, I'm not a politician. I don't get into the politics of things before 6 years ago. And when you make yourself available for the Lord to use, He will use you. So it's not what I can bring to the table, or my history. My history has shown me very clearly how to surrender my authority. And that being also part of what I saw was a problem in the city was not empowering people to be their best, empowering people in their jobs to be their best. I'll give you one example. When I was working one of my very last days at work here years ago, it was me and the owner of the business, and we were doing the jobs of like 10-man crews, and it was just him and I. When I had to leave due to my injuries, 3 people had to replace me. Not tooting my own horn, that's not good on me, but my service, my heart to serve, and my desire to help empower those in positions to do their best. That's what makes a 2-man crew able to do a 10-man crew job, is that camaraderie. So my history has brought me, in all that stuff, everything, the Lord has afforded me to start my own business. I had to put it on hold for a while till I got the back figured out. But that's a rough of my last 15 years or so. And again, the last 4 years of service is key to making yourself available, and the success of allowing the Lord to work through you. It's not necessarily my background and what my past has to bring, but I made myself available for the Lord to use, and it's what He's capable of doing. It says what He starts, He will finish. So basically, I've learned to just make myself available and accept what the Lord brings to my plate. And He has brought a lot of success for Spirit Lake in putting me in that role 4 years ago.
Okay.
So.
Well, great. Thank you. And give us your closing statement, anything that you would like the public to know about you, anything at all.
I have been called a lot of things in life, as I think a lot of people have. But one thing resonates with me, and that was a handful of years back when my mother called me a right fighter. And coming from her, mom and son battle, mother-son things, very normal. But she was not wrong. And the one person that knows you the most is your mom. And that came when kind of battling with family issues, and I stood on what was right, even in the face of going up against popular family things. Truth, the truth is the truth, a lie is a lie. There is good, there is bad. There is right and there is wrong. There is not 8 billion opinions that make 8 billion truths. I don't operate on, I do my best not to operate on emotion and feelings and what I think. I'm not in this world alone. First, I've got a higher power. God is in control no matter what. He raises leaders, he good and bad. He's put every one of them in there. But fighting for what is right is siding on truth. And what is truth? Truth implies that there is an absolute. There is a truth. And that could be religious, that could be municipality, politics. A right fighter is probably the best way to describe where I come from and what I do, and it's been forever. It's not a matter of popular opinion. There has been, another example is there has been 2 years of hate speech, libel, slanderous, just things that emotionally you want to chase. You want to combat that. It's wrong. It's lie. But when you remember that God's really in control, and you don't respond, and you don't try to emotionally dive into something, no matter what side you're on that, any issue, everything will work itself out. It always does. And when you watch God work through all of us, and there's an enemy out there, and even good people, to me, I hope and pray for the best success, no matter who wins elections. I really hope that these people, all of them that are running for the same positions, are running with the same desire to seek truth, fact, not thought and opinion. Because that's where you get into failure, is when we throw a lot of thought, feeling, and opinion into things. And everyone's entitled. I don't want to take anyone's thoughts, opinions, or feelings away from them. But we should root ourselves in facts and truth. And that's, I mean, if I closed, it would be, that's how I've done it. I have the 4 years of proof of that's how I've worked. I've never in history have heard any mayor being asked to come back or rerun by all of their employees. I've not heard of that locally. That's not, again, I'm not too, it's what others see who know you and know what you're capable of bringing that speak louder than anything I could say.
Right.
So that's
great.
Pretty much where I stand.
Great. Anything else?
I think that should probably, there's a lot more, but
We don't have all day.
We do not have all day. I would just, I would very much beg people to do their homework. Don't vote emotionally. Don't vote. Social media is that's another hours we can get into, but it is not true. It's not facts. We have to be very cautious what we're reading, what we're seeing. I probably have made myself more available as a mayor than Most mayors I know, I answer my phone 24/7. My card's at the front desk. You can get me if you need to get a hold of me, day or night. Nobody, okay, one or two people in 4 years, 3 people in 4 years have come in with some of these big issues that are floating around. If you go on social media, they're huge, but they're non-existent.
No.
They really don't exist. So we have to be very cautious and really seek for the truth. So,
We need wisdom and discernment,
yes.
because there's a lot of social media warriors out there.
Yes, there is. Well,
But I'm
it's
not.
anti-social media, but it's a narcissistic platform. You can say things, and I know of one site that as soon as you question, where's the proof? Where's the facts? And this is real. I had a stack of papers that planning, looking at your questions, I'm like, that's just too much. But when you ask for the facts, you ask for, and you're booted off a site, speaks volumes. So again, truth, not our opinions. What is the truth?
Truth matters.
So it really matters. And the wisdom should not come from us.
From above.
It definitely has to come from the one that put us here.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Anyway, thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
for having
joining
me.
us. We appreciate the opportunity to get to know you a little bit better.
Thank
and
you.
I'm sure the voters will enjoy that as well. Thanks very much for listening in.